Hi guys, and welcome to episode 17 of Behind Enemy Lines. Today we look at the season review. So we look at all the statistics for the season was 2017-2018. Run the intro. And we start right at the beginning with the fans' player of the season. And considering he is a new addition to the squad, Sead Kalazanic with 34% of the vote is our player of the season. Second, Alexis Sanchez. Third, Hector Bellerin. He's also the young player of the season, so he's won both awards. The goal of the season from Mesut Ozil. And here is that goal from Mesut Ozil. Lovely free kick up, over the wall, into the net in the 7-4 win over Freiburg. And that was a goal of the season. It was a brilliant free kick, a fantastic win over Freiburg as well. So Peter Cech is the goalie in the team of the season. Hector Bellerin, Chiellini and Holding are the two centre-backs, which is interesting. Kalazanic obviously is the left-back. Ozil and Xhaka. Walcott, Wilshere, Sanchez and Lacazette, which is an interesting one. No Scarpa in there, considering he played quite a lot of games. So yeah, interesting. The awards given out by the players and fans. This is always interesting, the stats through the season. So, top scorer, two of them, Alexis Sanchez and Alexander Lacazette, 19 goals apiece. Sead Kalazanic was the highest average rating. Mesut Ozil, most assists. Pass completion rate was Granit Xhaka with 89%. Most man of the match awards, Alexis Sanchez with 7. Most yellow cards, Sead Kalazanic with 12. But never sent off, which is quite a feat. Granit Xhaka and Chiellini with a red card apiece. And just to look closer in on the goal scorers, so we know that Sanchez and Lacazette had 19 apiece. Danny Welbeck was third with 12. Olivier Giroud with 9, which is interesting considering the amount of game time he actually had. He got the same amount of Theo Walcott, playing half the amount of games. Mesut Ozil with 6. Jack Wilshere with 5. Alex Iwobi with 5. Granit Xhaka, Aaron Ramsey, and then the rest. The assist chart is an interesting one as well. So obviously we know Mesut Ozil was number 1. Number 2 was Alexander Lacazette and Danny Welbeck together. Alexis Sanchez with 6, followed Jack Wilshere, Theo Walcott with 5, Giroud with 4, Kalazanic with 3, Ramsey, Bellerin with 3 as well. So it's interesting because we played the ball into the box quite a lot. The wide men didn't really get the assists. Danny Welbeck obviously played quite a lot of the time wide. He's the exception. But Alexander Lacazette with 12, considering he played most of the season as the main striker. Mesut Ozil, no surprise with him playing behind the striker, being able to slot the ball in left, right, centrally to put people through on goal. So our season review. So we were expected to be amongst the leading candidates for the continental football qualification spot, and they lived up to the bidding by securing a place in the Champions League. And Arsenal finished where many expected them to, spending time at the top of the table, but we couldn't manage to stay there. So we finished third overall, lost in the second knockout round to Leipzig, game I want to forget in a hurry. And we lost in the fifth round of the FA Cup to Newcastle, another game I want to forget in a hurry. The League Cup, I forget who we lost to. It's not even there. Don't know why. Match of the season was the 2-0 win over Chelsea back in October. And the moment to forget was the 3-0 defeat against Liverpool in December. But we made up for that. We beat them at home recently. 99% full, the Emirates. I'm sure those figures may be fudged. But the telling statistic for me is we had used the highest amount of players, 30 overall, so I could never settle on a squad. We did have a lot of injuries in fairness, but yeah, there was a lot of chopping and changing. There was a few ins and outs. Also, the league position as well as something to look at. We never were outside the top 6 throughout the whole season, which I think is quite telling. And speaking of where we went wrong, I think you can probably see that here. So I've toggled it so you can see the losses. So that loss to Liverpool was quite telling. But then we lost little games. We lost to Stoke, we lost to Everton, lost to Swansea. Manchester City we expected to lose. Losing to Southampton wasn't really very good. Draws. Again, we drew with a lot of the teams we'd expect to beat. We drew with Brighton, we drew with Everton, we drew with Newcastle, we drew with Swansea. We didn't beat Swansea in the entire season. Drew with West Brom at the Hawthorns. Drew with Manchester City, drew with Manchester United. So they were 2 positive ones. But we did beat quite a few teams. So, yeah. Overall, fairly positive season. One man did make it in to the team of the year, and that was Said Kalazanic at left back. Interestingly, it was made up of predominantly Manchester City players, us and Manchester United, with 1 Chelsea player thrown in there. But we didn't win any of the individual awards. They went to Manchester City and Manchester United players. None of ours got a look in. And then the 2 competitions that really got away. Crystal Palace won the FA Cup. Andros Townsend with a 120th minute winner against Chelsea. That is satisfying to see. Crystal Palace, obviously one of those clubs you wouldn't have expected to win the FA Cup, so they must be delighted at Selhurst Park. Going on to the Europa League, Milan won the Europa League, beating Leipzig in the final. Cracking final. 3 red cards, a penalty, and an 88th minute winner for Milan, although they were 10 aside at that point. Leipzig also beat Tottenham on their way to winning the Europa League, so they did the North London double, knocking us both out of the competition. But to make the final, that was really good for them. Although they did drop out of the Champions League into the Europa League, which is something I really don't agree with. And now it's time to take an extended trip to Casualty to look at the medical centre and see how long players were really out for. So Santi Cazorla was out for the longest period of time. He did start the season injured. He came back towards the end of it, picked up a couple of niggles towards the end of the season. So he spent 58% of the season not being available. Peter Cech missed 2 months. Olivier Giroud missed 2 months. Jack Milch only missed 6 weeks of the season, which is quite good for Jack. Alex Iwobi, Danny Welbeck, Aaron Ramsey, Giorgio Chiellini missed 5 weeks between them. Lacazette missed 4 weeks. De Jong missed 4 weeks. Theo Walcott missed 4 weeks. Kalazanac missed 2 weeks. Everybody else was days, couple of days. So overall, we didn't have a lot of injury problems. Obviously, nobody was out of the team for an extended period of time, apart from Santi Cazorla. Probably the reason that helped us finish 3rd. And something I really like looking at, I like looking at the commercial summary at the end of the year. Most to see how many shirts we sold and who sold the most. So we sold 643,666 shirts. 666, I don't like that. Alexis Sanchez was our highest. Mesut Ozil, Danny Welbeck, Theo Walcott and Alexander Lacazette. Considering we're going to lose Alexis Sanchez in the summer, that might have a bearing on next season's amounts. Obviously the broadcast revenue, £106 million from broadcast alone. That's why the Premier League is going to the dogs in terms of money. Competition money, 39 million. Sponsorship, 64.8. Corporate and hospitality was only 9.67 million, which is terrible. Matchday commercial revenue, 3.19. So we made a lot of money. We avoided a tax bill, which is good. Don't want to give the tax man any money if you can help it. So overall, I think my first season with Arsenal has been very interesting. It's a very, very interesting challenge, taking on your closest rivals. So 56 games we played, 37 wins, 10 draws, 9 defeats, 104 goals for, 50 conceded, difference of 54 if you're any good at maths, a win percentage of 66%. One win, and that was the Community Shield. I did want to win more trophies, but alas, that was not meant to be. So there we go. Season review done. That is the end of Behind Enemy Lines. I will not be doing a second season with Arsenal. I feel that I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. I wanted to take Arsenal back to the top. Obviously, winning a title would have been brilliant, but it wasn't meant to be at the end of the day. We are moving on to something new in the new year, which I'll release a little teaser video for closer to the time. But thank you for the support for Behind Enemy Lines. It's been really fun to do, but as a Tottenham fan, a series with Arsenal, one season is enough. If you would like to leave a like on today's video, please do so. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel and haven't done so already, please click the subscribe button down in the corner. Thank you to all those who are subscribing. I hope you enjoyed Behind Enemy Lines. If you've missed anything, go back and catch up for you to watch in your own time. That was episode 17, the final episode of Behind Enemy Lines. I will see you for what comes in 2018. Happy New Year. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.